So once again, I'm Adam McKay, the director.
Yeah.
Then
Oh,
you
yeah.
would
No.
say-
Okay. Mine. Yeah. Sorry. Paul Rudd. I'm
Also the director.
I'm also the director.
Jan Michael Vincent, the director.
Christine Applegate, craft service.
David Keckner, staff medic.
And Steve Carell.
He did not serve a function on the film. Just a good buddy
I
of
just
ours.
wanted
We
to
wanted
say
him to be
Just
here.
a great guy.
Thank you so much for the gifts of the tape recorders. Very nice.
Really nice. So yeah, who has some questions for us? You want to just start off?
Did you base your characters on one person that you might have seen when you were looking through those tapes from the 70s, or is it a conglomeration of news people?
I based my character on an imaginary figure by the name of Walter Pembroke. And Walter Pembroke was he was a lieutenant in the French Navy during the 1800s. Not a lot of literature on Walter Pembroke. Just from, Adam and I, we get together, we get a case of gin, and we sit down, we go to our mountain retreat.
We punch mirrors and we explore our darker selves. No, it's just an amalgam of all newscasters that we grew up with. Sort of like before there was cable, when these people were like gods.
Lots of ad-libbing, and is that what mostly ended up in the movie?
We were fined if we didn't follow the script. It'd be a $5 fine, meted out, if you didn't pronounce every word in the script and take note of punctuation. And even now, I'm not supposed to speak.
No, there was tons of improv on this. Yeah, a lot of it did show up.
Ad libs,
We call 'em,
we call them make-em-ups sometimes too. So I don't know if you want to use that. That's a technical term. Make-em-ups.
Throw-ins.
Throw-ins.
Off the cuffies.
Off the cuffies.
Can you talk about directing that sort of activity and trying to keep a cohesive through line on a production? I heard at one point that you were thinking about releasing an 8-hour director's version of this movie at one point. Right?
8 hours would be amazing. We actually did have a 4-hour cut of the movie. Will, you're breathing too close to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
When you're not talking, just stay away because you tend to breathe very heavily. Yeah, we did. We had a 4-hour cut of the movie at one point, and it was all new scenes. I think you're still too close. We can hear you.
Am I?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Just when you're not talking, just back off completely.
Totally back off?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, but we did. We had a 4-hour version of the movie that was just littered with whole runs and stuff like that. Oh, you're just mocking me. That's not even...
No.
Oh.
I was just exhaling.
Okay. Absolutely not. Next question, please. We are trying, we're going to put out a DVD with all of it. I mean, we literally had enough extra footage. We made a whole second movie called Wake Up Ron Burgundy. I'm actually not kidding. This is absolutely true. It's an hour and 40-minute second movie of entirely fresh material that will eventually be put out on DVD.
I wanted to ask the guys about shooting that big fight scene, and then Christina about your smaller fight scene directly with Will.
We'd rather you didn't. Let's
move on. The fight scene, yeah, it happened. You know what? It was an amazing feat that Adam pulled off because I think there was something like 60 setups in one day, I believe, with 2 camera units working simultaneously.
We were setting people on fire and tridents and there's a lot of rumors that we used actual dead bodies for the background, which of course is not true.
It's so not true.
It's so not true, and that I don't know. I mean, we did what we needed to do to get it done. If people got hurt, so be it.
That's what. Never mind.
Yeah, legally you can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Will.
And then our fight scene together.
Oh yeah.
Was
very violent.
That was actually 3 camera crews.
That did take about 2 or 3 days.
That took 2 or 3. Actually, took 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That took most of the shooting schedule.
Hey, you're talking about...
God, we worked 17, 18 hours a day on that.
I believe, at least.
Because Adam's really particular, and when I had the antenna for the TV thing. I guess I just wasn't doing it right, and so we had to do
Not
that.
you weren't doing it right, you were doing it wrong.
Well,
It's
there
the
you
same way
go.
to express
There
two
you go.
thoughts, but yeah. Well, we met before this movie for 6 months, much like The Matrix, and had them. They worked out with martial arts instructors. We were in Hong Kong for 2 months working on the wire food techniques. Another 4 months we went to Madagascar, and they all became Balinese mask makers, which had nothing to do with the movie. I just wanted them to have that experience. And then actually Steve and Dave went to the Brewers fantasy camp and got to play with Jim Gantner and Robin Yount. Once again, not related to the movie, but a neat little side story.
It was really fun.
And there was a lot of effort. I mean, we started shooting this in '89.
Yeah.
And
With an entirely different cast.
yeah, it was originally Harvey Keitel was playing Will's role. Right. And it just didn't work out. We had to reshoot the whole beginning. And at one point, the Filipino government had an insurgency, and they took back all our helicopters. So we lost them in the middle of the shoot. And then Martin had the heart attack. And then remember when Brando showed up 300 pounds
That's
overweight?
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry.
Apocalypse Now.
That happens to me sometimes.
This is for Will. I think we're missing an important part of the movie here today, the dog that played Baxter.
Yes, Peanut.
What was it like working with him? Because you guys seem to have some great chemistry going on.
We did, because, and I'm professional, I'm allowed to say this, I let him lick my balls. So, and that's what you need to get close with your animal. And, I mean, no, I can say that, right?
No, you definitely should not have said that. That's. I'll step right in. No. When that happened in your trailer, when we were doing it, I said, this is horrifying. All you need to do is hold a little piece of food in your hand, and the dog will come near you. You said, no, I want to do it this way. And I specifically said, when we do the press junket, don't bring this
I
up.
get confused at these things.
How do you feel, Will, being aligned to this new frat pack, as they call it, of guys who are in each other's movies?
Well, I love the name. It's fantastic. It's catchy.
It's really exciting.
We've made over 25,000 T-shirts that say, get on board, the frat pack train is leaving the station, which we're going to work on the slogan. But
That's too much.
it's catchy, it's fun, it's now.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
What was it like working with all these wild madmen?
Well, as you can see, I just kind of keep myself quiet and I laugh a lot. That's it. That's what I did every day. I didn't say a word. In fact, I don't think we ever spoke through the whole filming of the movie.
Off camera, no.
No. But it's good to talk to you today.
I'm Steve.
You're very funny in the movie, by the way.
Thank you. You're very funny too.
Oh, thanks. It was amazing. I mean, this is what I got to do every day. Laugh this hard. And you did. This is how hard we laughed.
After playing members of the media, have you guys had any more sympathy for what we do?
You know, the one thing we noticed was that we were looking back at the old anchors kind of before cable and assuming that they would be more doddering and simple. And a lot of the guys we interviewed were actually pretty smart, like this guy Bill Butel in New York, Jack White. Like they kind of were more connected to the Edward R. Murrow tradition, you know. And then we kind of noticed more of the people now tend to be, as far as the Anchorman go, more bent on presentation. And that surprised us. We didn't expect that.
I was wondering how much you could relate to this character, because I remember you played the Babe on a television show for a long time. Did you?
It's difficult because I really am just limited to that, to the Babe on the television show. So anything sort of outside that is like, whoa! No, I'm kidding. No, I'm serious. No, I'm kidding. I loved playing Veronica because I loved, well, having watched a lot of footage from that time, from the 70s, and watching women as newscasters, and we got to have this tape that was sort of behind the scenes, so you could see the dynamic between the men and the women. I love that idea that these women were just in, they were in hell. And I loved playing a character that overcompensated for her femininity and who had to be tougher than the boys.
A fair amount of the character was on the page, just because Adam and I, had lived with it for so long, writing it. However, Adam's somewhat unconventional as a director because we didn't really, we kind of do the scene written maybe one time and then we'd start improvising right away. So
How long does that go on?
how long does
The improvisation, I mean, do you do lots and lots of takes?
Well, we usually, I mean, a take would usually be, you know, when the film ran out. So we just keep, you know, we just reset and keep doing stuff over and over again. Plus Adam, a lot of times, will just yell out great suggestions and lines while we're rolling, and you just kind of.
They weren't that great.
You know what? You're right. They were borderline horrible, and you'd do it anyway, and we'd all kind of look at each other and go, "Whoa."
Okay, Adam.
Nothing but hurtful to even do this.